Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. It's Nia. Welcome to our Friday feature. Today is Friday, March 15th. And this week we are welcoming a special guest, cinematographer, Maymunah Kelly. But for those of you who all are new and you don't know much about BMG Fly, I'd like to tell you a little bit more. My name is Nia Malika Dixon, and I founded BMG Fly back in 2018 with the purpose of providing enrichment, platform, empowerment to Black and Muslim women and girls, specifically to change the narrative and to provide more opportunities for us to excel and for others to see us excel. And one of our goals this year is to host a Friday feature every Friday of the year, a live Friday feature where we chat with an amazing Black Muslim woman or girl who would love to share what's important to her, talk about her professional and creative endeavors, and about the community and how BMG Fly impacts the community and the world at large. And specifically how she embodies that Black Muslim girl fly. So just to give you a heads up, if you have any questions, please do feel free to put them in the chat and let us know if you are interested in learning more about BMG Fly. Also, if you have any questions for Maymunah and yeah, that's it. We definitely want to encourage more Black Muslim girls and women to participate in Friday Feature this year. Right now, alhamdulillah, we are booked all the way through June, which is such a blessing. During this month of Ramadan, we are doing a lot of celebrating over here at BMG Fly because not only have we received our shipment of our first print of our guided journal, and we shipped those out a few days ago, but we also have some fundraising campaigns in the works. We're launching our weekly check-in for Ramadan today, so stay tuned for that. And I definitely want to incorporate a lot of what our Friday feature guests have been doing and suggesting for us to do at BMG Fly. So keep your eyes open for more. And in the meantime, let's see if we can get Maymunah in on our call. Hold on one second. Let's see. Ooh, technology. Hold on. In the meantime, while we're waiting, please do feel free to post your questions in the chat. And if you have us on a Friday feature, you can email us at blackmuslimgirlfly@gmail.com. And there is Maymunah. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Like, I'm fine. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yay!
I'm on my floor, so.
No problem. Listen, at one creative to another, that's the most comfortable place where I write. So
I edit on
awesome.
the floor, so I get it.
Yeah, look at that. So, okay, before we get started, I wanted to just introduce you. I did earlier say that you're a cinematographer, but you're also a photographer as well.
Mhm.
So please let everybody know who you are, where you're from, and what you're doing now.
Okay. My name is Maymunah. You don't need the last name. I'm born and raised in New Jersey, and I'm currently a photographer slash cinematographer slash videographer slash traveler. I do a lot, but everything I do kind of encompasses those little titles there. Um, did I miss one? Was there another
No,
one?
no. Where did you grow up? You said New Jersey.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so I grew up in New Jersey. If you're from the East Coast, you know New Jersey is not a city in New York. But other than that, yeah, I've just kind of been all around New Jersey throughout my life. So yeah.
Excellent. So tell us about your Black Muslim Girl Fly. When did Black Muslim Girl Fly into your life and how?
Um, it's funny because I really was sitting and thinking about it. I'm kidding you not like a couple minutes ago. I was like, I can't remember the exact point, but I swear it was Twitter. Um, because I feel like I've met so many people, specifically people like I don't want to say like organizations, people like within industries and things like that. I've met so many of them through Twitter, just because Twitter is like such a different space compared to Instagram, which I feel like is very at times very monotone.
Mm,
So I believe it was Twitter because I was really thinking, I was like, it couldn't have been Instagram because Instagram, I don't feel like I have the same connection with people that I have when I'm on Twitter, where it's like sometimes you can get into intense conversations or you can see basically you know, a person's outlook on life or a person's outlook on so many different topics on Twitter because it's a little bit more interactive in terms of
yeah,
speech as opposed to Instagram. It's not as, interactive.
right. Well, I do remember meeting you on Twitter. Yes. Uh,
Okay, see, I'm not.
And one of the things that stood out to me was your creative perspective. I definitely admire because being a Black Muslim girl who's in that realm, um, I understood like this hunger for making sure that our representation was authentic
Mm-hmm,
and making sure that we had opportunities. And the fact that you were doing all these amazing things just really made me feel proud.
mm-hmm,
And I didn't even know you, but I know you now, after, interacting with one another. And I was
yeah.
like, this sister is definitely Black Muslim Girl Fly. Now, the history behind why I started it
Mm-hmm,
has a lot to do with me and my first experience at
mm-hmm,
Sundance. And being an indie filmmaker, I came out to LA from Baltimore and I changed careers, midstream. But I had this like naivete and this like optimism about us getting our stories out there. But unfortunately, Spike Lee, of all people, really shut me down when I was at a panel and I was asking, like, when can we get more Black Muslim voices in film? As the director of Malcolm X, I had expected him to be very much an advocate for that. And he literally sidestepped and, shuffle and dance. That's not really, that important, but you and I know that it's important.
mm-hmm.
So, when did you realize that you had to do that? Step up and say, I need to emphasize, my own identity and make a way for people who look and live like me in my industry,
Mm-hmm.
and literally just step into your own Black Muslim Girl Fly.
Um, in all honesty, I'm going to say I came to the conclusion probably a little bit later in school because not that I was the main like Muslim girl in school. Like I went to if you're familiar or not familiar, it's fine. I went to university in Montclair, New Jersey, Montclair State. There's a lot of Muslims there, a lot of Muslims there, but when you go into the film department, the film building, it's not a lot of us there. Like I probably could handpick on one hand. It was maybe three of us there. I think it was me. There was another girl, and then I think there was one guy,
Mm.
give or take. I'm not sure. Um, but was it was at that point. I think my first or second year, I realized that like if I wanted to tell certain stories, I would have to do it or assist someone else in doing it because not just like stories like based around like Muslims, but also stories based around like Black people as well.
Right.
Because um, one thing that did irritate me a little bit, and I won't like say any names or anything. I'm not trying to throw anyone on the bus. I just felt it was like improperly done. There was specific people in my like under my degree, like peers and stuff that were telling Black stories, but they weren't Black.
Hmm.
So in a way, I felt like they were profiting because there's this weird little box of people, and I can't even say just like small projects, also big projects as well. where they're aware they can profit off of telling Black stories
Right.
with Black people in it, because they know that people will gravitate towards it because of the story or the struggle or whatever's going on. They just feel like if they tell it, it'll get them here, as opposed to if they just tell a regular old story that, coincides with their whiteness.
Right.
Um,
I feel you.
so when I came to that conclusion, like my second year, it was like so many specific moments where I'm seeing people make these stories and I'm watching it. I'm sitting at the little festivals. I said, wow, this is so good. And then I find out the writer slash director is white. And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Because if it was just director, I promise I wouldn't
Right.
care. I would just be like, that's fine. Like it's fine. But writer means you put that there. It's
Right.
not like someone wrote it and then asked you to direct it, even though it would be weird as well to
Mm-hmm.
ask what. But I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Um, but then I started like making it very intentional that the stories that I'm choosing to tell, or the people that I'm choosing to help tell their stories, they're actually the ones that should be telling the stories. Granted, there are some stories where I feel like the person behind the camera slash the person behind in the director's chair doesn't matter,
Mm.
but I feel like in some instances it also does matter, and it should be pivotal to telling that story, and it should not be someone that has no correlation with the story telling the story.
Exactly.
So, and I also feel like that reflects in like what's the word? People, oh, excuse me, people these days that are telling stories about Black Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as I know, when you're watching something that's related to Black Muslims, you can always there's something you can always tell the person that did it just didn't do their research, or they just didn't put their effort in. They didn't like, because it comes off so
Yep.
um like monotone,
Yeah.
especially like for some reason whenever I watch anything related to like Black Muslim hello.
I seen the therapy.
But for some reason when we're watching like films and television based off Black Muslims, there for me, I'm watching it, it's a disconnect, because
Mm-hmm.
it's just something about it that doesn't feel realistic, or something about it that just feels like whoever wrote this, whoever directed this, they don't know anything about Black Muslims. They always come off as just like a caricature. They
Yep.
never come off as like, I see that person, I'm go like, okay, that's a Black Muslim. Like I've seen short films do better representations, or even commercials do better representations of Black Muslim girls compared to like big feature films where like they can't even get the salams right.
Right.
Like they can't even get the salam. Like,
Exactly.
did you do your
Yeah.
research?
Right.
Like it's such a minimal thing. Not Butterball. Okay. And then it throws me out if I'm watching something and uh what is it? I don't think it was the Miss Marvel TV show. Maybe it was. I don't know. It might have been. I think that was the most recent thing. But there was like a disconnect so much in that show as well.
Mm.
Was it Rami? I don't
Oh,
remember.
don't get me
I don't.
started on
Yeah,
that.
like it's just. I'm not even
Talk
gonna
about
say specifically Muslims, because the media has their own version of how they make Muslims in film,
right.
and usually they're brown. They may or may not cover, and there'll probably be a stereotype. If
Exactly.
they're brown and they cover, they're going to be a huge stereotype, like the most stereotypical person you can ever think of.
Yeah.
If they don't cover, they're going to make them be like really wishy-washy, even
Yep.
though some people that don't cover are not wishy-washy when it comes to like Islam and religion. Um, and then if they're Black, they're going to put them so surface level that you're like, is this person even a Black Muslim? Because Black Muslims are very, very heavy into their
Yeah.
Blackness. They're very, very heavy into like being Muslim.
Yeah.
They're in there. And
That
it's
intersectionality is so important.
like it's almost like when people paint Black Muslim, I'm gonna say women because I haven't seen a lot of interpretations of Black Muslim men for
Mm-hmm.
some reason. But when it's women, I feel like they pull from, and people will take this how they will, they pull from NOI. That's like
Mm-hmm.
the
That's true.
base surface level of the character that they base it off of, to the
I've
point
seen it.
where it's like, did you even do your research?
Right.
Because if you know Black Muslim, especially the ones today, not even though I know it's a very large following in NOI, but if you know Black Muslims today and you're watching a movie or something, every Black Muslim character should not be based off of NOI.
No,
You
because
know,
we're not all from NOI,
we're not all from there. I'm not
Listen.
knocking it. There are people in there that are,
And
NOI, but
don't even like bring up Ahmadiyya Muslims, because there's like
wait,
no
which one?
representation of Ahmadiyya Muslims. There's no representation of Black Muslim people in that community. There's no, like, it's
Nope.
so tropey,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very, like you said, it's very surface. It's
Yep.
not even, there's no depth to the character, and it's like, honestly, the way that Black people are written into certain projects, whether they're Muslim or not, is just as bad. But then when you add the fact that they're supposed to be Muslim, which does add depth to us,
Mm-hmm.
that makes it even worse that they did it so poorly. And that's just like a prime example of why folks like you and other people that are in this chat that are watching know that they need to step up and, share their talents with this industry to have that responsible storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big advocate for that. Don't tell the story if you're not part of the community. And if you have the means, then you need to lift up the people who have the stories to tell.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I also feel like, perhaps, because I just feel like, I probably had this mindset for a long time, so maybe it's not the best mindset in certain alleys of life, but I feel like in terms of, um, the creative industry, it's very important where I feel like, actually, no, it does apply to some of this, but you should, instead of looking towards other people that are not in the community or not familiar with the experience of being Black and being Muslim, or even like being a Black Muslim woman as well. I feel like we should just create it
Yeah.
ourselves. It's different if it's like, um oh, we don't have this award show, we don't have this, why don't they include this? Just create it yourself.
Yep.
Just create it yourself. Because if you constantly look towards people that don't want to put in the effort and the research to actually go for something and actually make it meaningful,
Mm-hmm.
it defeats the point. Sometimes you just have to, the person that is a part of it or aware of it or understands the community and has been a part of it, it's better for them to paint that
Yeah.
picture rather than, um someone that hasn't. Like, I just feel like someone that's not in one of the three categories, even though I feel like you should be at least two of them. If you're not Black, you should not be writing stories about Black Muslims. If you're not a woman and Muslim or Black, one
Yeah.
of those two, you should
Yep.
not be writing stories about Black Muslims, because you can't just be a woman and be like, okay, I'll write a story about a Black Muslim woman. No,
You
because you're not
need
going to understand. You
exactly.
know, you're not gonna get it, because it's just certain stuff that comes with being Black Muslim. Like, no one's going to understand, beside a Black person, the oil man on the corner.
Hello.
But a Black Muslim will understand there's also an oil shop, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's different correlations. Like, the average Black person is gonna be like, oh yeah, I know the oil man on the corner. The average Black person will
Yeah.
get that, or I should say, average Black person that grew up in like an area where they would have that. Not every Black person. Yeah, like somebody in Cali
Listen,
probably wouldn't.
there was
But it's
a
just,
film. I,
it's levels.
I don't know if you've ever seen the short film Zahra and the Oil Man. Have you seen that?
Someone gave me the, like, a hard, not a hard copy. It was like a, I don't remember if it was like a DVD that they sold or something. I remember somebody giving it to me, and I never got to watch it, and I just never was able to watch it. But I do remember that, it was
That's
like
a
they
prime.
printed it out on a little paper, they folded it around the DVD, and then, they were just giving it out. That's all I
But
remember.
that's a prime example of the kinds of storytelling. It's a story about the old man and his daughter, a little
Mm-hmm.
Black Muslim girl, and her dad selling oil on the corner, like you said. And immediately when you said that, that's the first thing that I thought of, that film.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah,
And
but
that's a
you
small
just,
thing.
yes, but you just explained why being aware of your identity and living in it and like stepping into it and owning it and forcing other people to own that and like accept that is so important, because otherwise you're not really telling a good story. You're not really telling an authentic story. So
I agree.
definitely.
I agree. Yeah.
So
It's
yeah.
it's it's difficult, but I just, in this way, like, I don't know. I kind of I don't know. I haven't had inspiration, me personally, to like make something just because I got a little bit more my third year into school, I got a little bit more into cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
Um so I haven't really had the inkling to write. Like, I mean, sometimes I've had the inkling to, oh, let me write a book, let me write a novel, but then I'm like, I don't want to write the fluff. There's just that one scene that I want to have that I think is important. But I haven't really had an inkling to be like, oh, let me pop out this little script based
Mm-hmm.
off of um this Muslim. I'm just like, I'd rather someone else write it and I shoot it. You know, and for FBI purposes, I'm talking about a camera. Okay, you know, you never know who's watching. I gotta put that in there. Um, but it's, I would love to shoot a film like just circling around someone that's black and Muslim, and even if it's like the portrayal of a younger girl that's learning her way with life or learning, um, I don't know, finding her like her obsessions or her hobbies and things like that. Because I also feel like, and I thought about this when I was going over the questions that you sent me. Um, I feel like every, and some people might disagree with these. I feel like every story that's based around someone that's black and Muslim does not always have to relate to their faith. I feel
Right.
like it can relate to other things as well. And I feel like so much of what we do as Muslims is just circled around, everything that we create has to be based off of faith, which I have no problem with. But I feel like you can also have a film that's just about, oh, this black Muslim girl, she wants to be a nurse,
Mm-hmm.
or oh, she wants to be an artist,
Just exist.
or oh, she's just like trying to take her mom to the doctor, like
Oh,
it, you know, normal things, which
yes.
I'm not saying faith is not a part of that. It can still be a part of that, but it doesn't have to circle around every every story that we tell about Muslims is, oh, this one's about wudu, this one's about
Right.
paying zakat, this one's about learning how to cover, or she's not sure if she wants to cover.
Right.
I just like, we can we get something where, I don't know, maybe she just wants an ice cream cone and
Hello.
she just can't seem to get to that store to get that ice, like, you know, just a regular story.
Just.
And I tie that in with when I watch stories just based off of black people.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've mentioned this a while ago to a lot of my friends, where I no longer support stories about black struggle, black pain, trauma porn. I don't do it anymore. It's no purpose in my life.
I hear you.
So I put that in with like black stories and black Muslim
Mm-hmm.
stories. So black stories, I need them to have regular stories about regular things, such as they just want to go to the grocery store, or the person
Right.
is going through a divorce, or they're trying to like their parent is sick. You know, a regular story that white people can have and people relate to, as opposed to black people. It always has to be based off a biopic of someone that died in the 60s or the
Right.
20s, or it has to be a biopic, or it has to be a slave story.
Right.
We don't get any regular stories where people are just, oh, this family here, they're going through a tough time. One of the kids is sick. You know, a
Just
regular story. So I feel like
normal
with
living.
black Muslims,
Right. Right.
like every
Just
day, something people can
normal
relate
living.
to that is a part of their, already a part of their life. Something that I just don't. I would connect with something more if it was more realistic, as opposed to based off a true story. So
Mm-hmm.
and so did this. Civil rights leader this. She was a famous singer in the 20s and she had to deal with being black. Okay, give me something else.
So tell me,
Anything else.
was there an opportunity that you've ever experienced working on a set where it was just a film about a regular experience, not hinging upon identity politics? Crickets. So like
I
you said,
know. Wait. I'm trying to think. Hold on. Because you know what? It's been so rare that I've been on a set where, I'm not even gonna say it's a black story, but I'm gonna say it's a film that centers on a black character as the main. Because I don't want to say, because when you say black stories, people always think of struggle and all
yeah,
that stuff, but it's very rare. So I'm gonna say no.
there
I'm
you
gonna say
go.
no, because
But
I
like you
think the
said,
last film was
you
no. Yeah, no.
got to make it yourself. You
Yeah.
definitely got to do it
I
yourself.
would love for someone else to write it and
Yeah.
I shoot it.
Okay,
I
everybody out
love
there,
script writing, but no.
all the creatives out there, you heard, okay? We need these
Hmm.
stories. If you're a writer, step up.
Yes.
And
Yes,
you already
please.
have a cinematographer right here. So tell us how you got into cinematography.
I feel like I tell this story so often. In a weird turn of events, I was on, whose set was it? Okay, So at school I went to, you had 4 years, and every fall semester you would write your screenplay, your script or screenplay, whichever. And then you would the following spring you would shoot whatever you wrote. So someone would shoot it for you. You wrote it the previous semester. So you had that back and forth for 4 years. So you had film one, film two, film three, and then thesis. You had intro to screenwriting, intermediate screenwriting, advanced screenwriting, and then thesis.
Okay.
So I was on a set because you had to participate in sets like every semester just to, get yourself familiar with it, because you learn stuff in the classroom, but not as much as you learn on a set.
Right.
So I was on a film two, which is second year. And the director, was it director? Sorry, the DP. So the DP, her mom went into labor.
Oh, wow.
And she had to leave. So I was ACing. I had to fill the role. So
Right.
I spent the rest of that day DPing. And it was such a I don't know, like, I don't want to say a halo moment, but it was like, oh, like my brain was like,
that was that pivotal moment where you knew,
like this.
So
that's kind of what happened. Like, I filled for a day, and then in a weird turn of events, the next day she was like, "Okay, I'm back. What did you do?" I showed her everything. She's like, "Oh wow, you guys got all this done." Da, da, da. I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I really enjoyed it. That was really fun." And from there, I kind of like started looking, because I think before that I was mainly interested in like script supervising, and then occasionally I would AC like if need be, or like I would grip. Like I was kind of all around. But after filling for someone, I was like, yeah, I'm ready to AC. I'm ready to anything in the camera department. Like, let's go.
nice.
And after that, I started having different interactions, like with either AC or DP. Some of them are fun. Some of them are like, okay, I still have more to learn and things like that. Even now, I still have more to learn. But I feel like each moment from then kind of pushed me more towards finding like my niche,
Right.
my creative path and stuff.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for her mom going into labor,
That's the color of Allah there.
yeah. And in a weird turn of events, I, I shot her thesis film like 2 years later, and I got to meet her mom, and I got to meet the baby, and I was like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. But hey,
so
that's
tell
how it happened.
everybody, folks out here who don't know how important the DP is, tell us what the DP does, because as a director, if I didn't have a DP, I wouldn't have a project. So please enlighten everyone.
It's I feel like it's a lot that encompasses what a DP is. So on sets we call DPs. Offset, like if you're a person that watched the Oscars, or I don't think the Golden Globes has this award. Maybe they do. I don't know. It's been a while. But the DP is the director of photography or the cinematographer. On set they say DP.
Yeah.
And I've never heard anyone say DOP. I know some people say that. I've never in my life heard someone say that.
I think
say that
British.
You're a liar.
Is that a
Maybe
British?
it's a British thing. Maybe
Yeah.
it's a British thing. Because I've heard some people say DOP, but I'm just like, okay.
All right.
But basically, the DP is like, if the director is like the head of their department, then the DP would be head of camera department. So they're like the person in the final say when it comes to camera. Usually they're the person that works on the shot list. They're usually behind camera. If it's a bigger production, you might have like a bunch of cam operators and all that stuff. But usually the DP is like king of the castle, kind of. But like they don't have that much power. I feel like some people take that out of context.
No.
Because I've been on some sets where it felt like the DP was the director, just because it's supposed to be a matched relationship between director and DP, where they're like on the same page. Like the DP is under the director, because I'm here for you, you know.
Right.
But I have been on some sets where the DP seems like they're the director, because the director's like not as what's the word? They're not sure.
Yeah.
And like their vision. So yeah.
And that makes it so that your project doesn't come through as clear. So yeah.
You have to know what you want.
Exactly.
If it's one thing I always try to stress, especially with directors, you have to know what you want and try to give your DP as much information as possible. Because I see see like being a cinematographer, DPing similar to being a photographer
Mm.
or being what's another good example? Like a wedding planner.
Mm.
You have to give the wedding planner as much information as possible, but also give them some room to create new things, to tell the story that you want to tell, but also give them information because I feel like sometimes people will do what 20%, and then
Mm-hmm.
they'll be like, "This is what I want," and then nothing else.
Right.
So you can't just do like, hey, you're a DP, here's the script, let's shoot it. Give me more
Right.
information. Like, what's your vibe? What do you want it to look like? What did you envision? Like, you have to give so much information so that the DP is able to put their creative foot in it, but
Yeah.
also have something to go off of. Because going off of nothing and then creating something and the director being like, oh, that's not what I imagined. Well, you didn't give me any information.
Perfect. Perfect.
I'm paraphrasing.
But but knowing that, like, you have to have your own confidence in your skill and what you bring to the project as well. So you definitely come in. I honor my DP because if it wasn't for the creative tools and the skill that you have, you wouldn't be able to give us those golden hour shots or that perfect angle or this amazing moment of emotional angst that you captured with this perfect close up. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like what part of you comes through in your expertise and your skill, because I want to link that to what makes you Black Muslim Girl Fly, because I really do see that. I see it in your photography. Tell us about that.
Um, in all honesty, I constantly feel like I can try to define some of the things that I do, but also I'm constantly learning and growing and finding new things to explore and and anytime I think, oh, where do I go from here? I find something new. Because I think the biggest aspect of like any portion of being a creative person or an artist is just learning, growing, basically like you're collecting knowledge like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like you're collecting them. You're collecting them.
Yep.
um but to I guess put a little phrase to it, I'm a person that enjoys color. I love
Mm-hmm.
color. Like I think color is a biggest form of expression, which is funny because I never used to be a colorful person. I used to be like a gray, black and white person. Like I used to be like, I'm talking about in terms of just wardrobe,
Mm-hmm.
and things that I liked. I even was like, no, let me get a black car. Let me wear black, 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 black. But the more I got into photography and cinematography, it's like, oh, there's just a whole world of color, and color is expression. Um, and if I was to describe my personality, I would say like I'm like a sunset. You know, like I love a sunset. I feel like sunset describes so many um, portions of life and portions of creativity. I also love sunset colors in so many of the things that I do, even if it's like traveling. I love yellows, I love reds, I love purples, dark hues. I'm not a big fan of pink, but it's in the sunset, so it can sit there for now. But I can honestly say that everything I do, I love color. Like color is just I don't know. It's just something about it. Like I just love color. It's just a form of like expression without having to say much. So yeah.
I love that. One of the other Friday features we had was Zainab, and she's a painter, and she talked about how exploring painting brought that out in her as well. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just so amazing how that thread runs through so many of us without us even realizing. So, like, as soon as you said that, the color, I immediately thought about what she said and how her exploring her expression
Mm-hmm.
helped bring that part of her out, and that was like the way that she showed up as Black Muslim Girl Fly. And that's how you just answered it, in the same way, like allowing yourself to explore color and express yourself in so many different colors. That, I mean, that's so beautiful. And honestly, I think if we allow ourselves to be more expressive and sit in that, it's sort of a way to honor what Allah has given us. I mean that's literally how I feel about storytelling, because it's like
Mm-hmm.
most of the stories that I tell are like fueled from my experiences, but they're also embellished by what I wish and dream. And who put
Mm-hmm.
that there except Allah? So it's like when you allow yourself to explore things that you have never experienced before, it's a way to honor the gifts that Allah has given you. So I love that. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So let me
Yeah, it's very.
ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to creating and telling stories and using your camera, because you definitely tell a story with your camera with color and light. How does that, I mean, how does having your identity and your community, all of that behind you, like support what you create?
Um, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say it's a little bit easier now because most people, even though I don't share a lot of the things that I create, just because the artist, the second guessing, all that stuff. I don't share a lot of things I create, but in a weird way, it's taken a while, and I think the reason I don't share a lot of the things I create is probably because of like previous instances when I was younger and I was in school. A lot of people used to always ask me why film, why film, why film, um, because a lot of either peers or people that I know, or people that I don't know, most people they don't choose their career choices or their passion based off of passion. They choose based
Right.
off necessity or just chasing. I don't want to say chasing the bag, but chasing like a meaningful career that would benefit them, like either financially or stability and things like that. They don't pursue their passions. Um, and I realize that's a very American mindset. A lot of people say that as well to us, that it's American mindset to pursue your passions as opposed to going for something that would support you in the life and da da da
Mm-hmm.
da. So in a weird way, I think the first 3 years of school, I didn't ever show anything that I did, like whether it was like my photography
Mm-hmm.
or anything cinematography, because it was just so many people were telling me, oh, like film, like you like, and then a couple years ago, it was all of a sudden everyone was all about film, like everyone watches film, everyone goes film, like so many people suddenly now understand things like shots and composition and lighting and things like, and these are regular
Mm-hmm.
people. Um, so it kind of changed my outlook on it. And then I think I got introduced to TikTok, like maybe it was before or after quarantine. I don't remember. One of my friends convinced me to download it. I downloaded it, started using it, and I started following different tags related to like film and cinematography. And I'm just like, my world opened up a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it was simple things people doing, like, oh, I'm just gonna have some coffee for today, but it shot like it's a whole feature film.
Right. The creativity.
And yeah, like it inspired me, like, okay, maybe I should show more of my work because it's a form of expression.
Mm-hmm.
It's art. Like I shouldn't have to like find other ways to fill the space where behind the scenes I would be doing films, I'd be on set, I'd be doing all this stuff, but the only thing I would post was like, oh, here's a smoky eye look with a red lip, because I thought that's what people expected of me, that's what they wanted to
Right.
see. And then every year, like I do this usually like the day before New Year's or New Year's Eve. I just reevaluate everything, like what did I post, what did I do, um, evaluate other people in my life, like should I change this, should I change, do I still need this person in my life, how they contribute. Like I try to do that. And then I think the couple years before I started posting like content stuff that was relative to what I liked and enjoyed, I was like, looking back at my old stuff, I was like, did I enjoy posting any of these?
Right.
No.
See?
Did I were they fun? Was it fun just, playing in makeup and doing all this stuff? Yes. But I was like, it's not what I wanted. It's not what I enjoyed. So I told myself from that point, I think it was like just right around quarantine, when I was recovering from being sick, and I was like, I want to post stuff that I enjoy, that I like seeing, that, you know, um represents versions of
Right.
myself or things that I enjoy, whether it's like travel, it's just something experimental, whimsical things. I love a good cottage tour. So many different things. I said, okay, I'm gonna start posting stuff that I want, that I like, that I enjoy. Um, because I
Now
think,
that's awesome.
yeah. I think I've had so many instances where people will ask me, when was this? I think this was 2021. Yeah. 2021. So I went to Rome after quarantine was over. You know,
Travel.
things were still open back up. I wanted to treat myself to something nice. I said I want to go to Rome. I've always wanted to go to Italy. And I did it solo. I was like, I don't need. I'm doing. It was my first time doing it. I did my research.
Yeah.
And I remember the moment where it kind of clicked for me that I don't have to share everything that I do.
Right. That
I
is so important.
it's very important. I think some people they don't take advantage of that, especially like we live in a social media world.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the trip, and I remember I posted like maybe one or two things, and after a while I was like, you know what? I don't want to quote this here, but in the show, what is it, Loki, where he's like, I'm just gonna sit here for a while, let time pass. That's
Yeah.
what I did. That's what I did. I just sat. I enjoyed. I walked around. I wandered.
That's
I
awesome.
eat. I just enjoyed it. And I remember so many people were asking me, like, I would post one thing, and they were like, "Are you gonna post the rest? Where is that?" And I was just like, you know, I just want to enjoy. I just want to enjoy my time. I I want to post the things that I want to post, that I enjoy posting, and not feel obligated to do it, because then
Right.
it feels monotone, it feels robotic. And I don't want to go back to the space where I was a couple years ago, where it's just I was posting for others and not for
Right.
me.
Right.
Um, so now when I post, it's for me. It's for me.
That's awesome. That self-empowerment is so important because so many of us have that influence from community that's the opposite of what we want to do, and it's
Mm-hmm.
more a societal pressure of what they expect from us. But having the autonomy and making that decision to say, I'm going to be the in the driver's seat of my own life. I'm going to make my own choices.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's very rare. And I'm speaking as another Black Muslim girl who grew up in a community with, pressure. Like, I started off as a school teacher and a mom.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I was supposed to do. But having the autonomy to say, you know what, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to assess what it is that I would like for my life to look like and feel like, and then make those choices. That's awesome. That's amazing. And I hope that a lot of people who are watching this can see that they can too.
Yeah, yeah. It's very hard to do. It's very hard to do. Um, Even like, this is gonna sound so harsh, but every now and then, like, I'll get someone on my timeline or some story or something where respectfully I'll just have to like unfollow them or like
No.
just mute their story, just because it's certain stuff I want to see on my timeline, and I don't want it to be a flood of information. I don't want it to be overwhelming, or where I have to second guess my choices and things I want to do and things like that. So sometimes it's easier to just distance yourself from a situation rather than trying to make it work for you. Just distance yourself from a situation. So that's what I just started doing. And then also really enforcing the, do I need to see this? Do I want to post this? Does this need to be here? Just really enforcing that, because I feel like the generation after us right now, like those like 2000 kids, they're already in there. They're
Mm-hmm.
already in. They're in where I'm gonna say. Okay, so most of my friends, I would say, like, are in mid or late 20s. Everybody that's in their mid to late 20s now. A couple years ago, we were in that phase where we had to have Snapchat, we had to have Facebook, we had to have Tumblr, we had to have what was it, Instagram. I think Vine was around a little bit
Mm-hmm.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm trying to remember all. It was so many apps, but it's like we had to be on every single app. We had to post every single second of every single day. Um, and I feel like it kind of distanced us from the world. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to tell myself I don't need to return to that, where every little second of every little day has to be documented and all of that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Like, it's okay to journal. Like, if you're journaling, that's fine. But I think limiting my usage of social media has really helped with my creative side, because I don't feel like I need to document every moment, or um, like some people, they wake up and the first thing they do is they check Instagram or
Mm-hmm.
TikTok or Snapchat, rather than wake up, you know, take your vitamins,
Right.
just breathe for a little bit, just have just enjoy the air, fresh air.
Self-care.
Um, And I feel like it's something that's become so prevalent, especially like with traveling. Like
Mm-hmm.
traveling people, the first thing they do when they go somewhere, as soon as they see something nice, phone. Yeah.
It's like a pressure to be a certain way and to look a certain way. And like
Mm-hmm.
you said, you're distanced from reality. You're not
Yep.
really in touch with who you are.
Yep.
And you taking that the step back to say, listen, I don't have to do this. I can choose how I present myself to the world and
Mm-hmm.
whether or not I want to. That in and of
Exactly.
itself is something that you definitely represent to other folks who are watching. Like my nieces, they need to see that. Like they don't need to be on Snapchat or Instagram or YouTube or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can take a step back and just take assessment of like, what do I want to do? And then present themselves.
And I feel like so many people they make excuses for it, like, oh, I want to save the moment. Take a picture, put your phone away,
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy the moment.
Be
Take
present.
a video if you need be, and
Be
enjoy the moment. Or make a promise to yourself. And I do this anywhere I go, anywhere I travel. I will always come back here. Like,
mm-hmm.
inshallah, I will always come back here. I have yet to go. I was saying this the other day to my friend when I went back to Italy in March, and I really didn't tell it. My family knew, but I wasn't posting about it. Who was gonna know? Nobody knew. I didn't post about it. But I was telling her, I said, I always think of every place that I've been to so far. I will always return here. I have yet to go to a country or a city where I was like, I will never come back here. So just take a picture, take a video, do whatever you need to do to capture the moment, and then move on. But then
Mm-hmm.
again, this is just me personally how I feel. I know everyone else doesn't feel this way, but I don't. This is me personally because I don't want people to take it out of context. I don't need to take a picture of, oh hey, hey Malika. This is the friend I was like, she's the one I was talking about. When I told her in Rome, I was like, I don't see myself not returning to any places I've
Right.
been to. She's had places where she, returned to, but I have yet to have an experience. But I really started to solidify that when I traveled, that I just want to like take a photo, take a video, and then just enjoy the moment. Just enjoy the moment.
Love
Um,
it.
because I feel like if I focus on, let me take a picture, let me take a video, let me take a picture, let me take a video, it just kind of goes by in a blur because, it's only so
Right.
many hours in a day. I haven't had the experience of being able to travel for months on months where I can just sit
Mm-hmm.
in one city and bask in it and enjoy. So the small trips that I have, which are not as frequent as I would like them to be, just enjoy the moment.
Right.
Just enjoy the moment. Um, and
I
I
love.
had to do that this past March because my camera was in the shop and I didn't have a camera with me. I just had my phone, and it was a very different experience not having a camera on the trip.
Mm.
I was sad, but I was also like, okay, you don't have to rely on your camera. Just enjoy the moment. Just just enjoy the fact that you're in another country and you can pretend for a while. No problems in the world.
Yeah. Listen, you honor yourself, you take these trips. Listen, this is an example to all the Black Muslim women out there who work too much. Take some time out for yourself. You know,
I
this is
agree.
showing you. You definitely need to, you owe it to yourself because a lot of us put other people first,
Hmm.
and that's not the best way to go. You can't give of yourself if you can't take care of yourself first. There's nothing left to give to other people. So, yeah, definitely love that. So, yeah, and your autonomy, going after your creative goals. What else do you think you would like to share with other Black Muslim girls and women, or just women and girls in general, to empower themselves?
Um, I don't want to say the same, but circling back, I was gonna say, back to what I said about passions. I truly strongly believe, as much as so many people will always assume that if you pursue your passions, they might fail. Everyone always goes to the first inkling. It's gonna fail. It's gonna fail. It's gonna fail. Who's gonna want to support? Just go for it. That way you can say some later point in life when you're telling your grandchildren or your nieces and nephews, whoever you're surrounded by when you're old, inshallah, you make it there. Inshallah, we all make it there.
I mean,
Um, you're able to tell them, oh, I tried so many different things. Like,
right.
I don't know if you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yes,
Okay,
twice.
you remember she tried everything. She
Yes.
tried everything, and she Granted, everything failed because as the movie's fantasy, like every other life she had was
But
successful,
even
but
in
that was the best.
reality, that happens.
But it happens. Like you fail. Like it's so many times where I've had instances where I've tried stuff, I've done stuff, and I
Mhm.
failed. And honestly, yeah, you go home and you cry about it, and it's like, gosh, this sucks. It's the worst. You kind of feel like this is the worst day of my life. This sucks. I never want to feel this way. But then you try something else and
Right.
it's successful. And you try something else after that and that fails. But it's like you keep trying. So I honestly want to tell people because there's so many people I've met where the careers and paths that they have is not what they want to do. Like,
Right.
oh, I chose to go to nursing school. I don't really like enjoy it that much, but
Hmm.
you know, I wanted something that was stable to pursue a passion. You had a passion before you decided to
Yep.
pursue the career that you're in now. Pursue that passion. I know it sounds easy to say when you know money is not free as it should be.
But it's your life.
Everything should be free, but it's like it's your life. At some point, you're going to regret the fact that you didn't try something that you were interested in, um, and that can be something as simple as, oh, I always wanted to get on a plane. I'll get on a plane, even if it's a $40 flight on Spirit Airlines. They go offers, but a $40 flight on Spirit Airlines, just go do that flight. Or oh, I've always wanted to paint. Go paint.
Yes.
A canvas is like $1. Paint is
No
$1.
risk, no risk, no reward.
You like just pursue that passion. If you don't have time to make a full-time thing, that's fine. You never know. It's so many instances where I thought things were impossible, and one thing I can be thankful for is the fact that I see so many people specifically on TikTok that have started to pursue their passions and
Yeah.
they have had success. They have had so much success. And I hate that that app is about to be banned.
Mhm.
And so many people are about to lose their whole livelihood. But I have seen so much success from people on that app for something as simple as, oh, I make clay charms. I've been
Mhm.
making them for 4 years. And then I made this one video and now I sold out every week.
Right.
Or I make scarves. I hand make scarves. It takes me about 30 days to make one scarf. All of a sudden, people are lining up every month to buy this scarf because I pursued my passion, quit my desk job. It's stories that I see, which makes me believe that if you don't try,
There,
what
there
is
it is.
what does Yoda say? There is no try, only do.
You do. There is no truth.
So
I
it's not
love it.
impossible.
No, nothing is impossible. Absolutely not. No. And I definitely credit whomever it was that inspired you to step into your greatness because it's something that a lot of folks don't embody. And that's something that I definitely wanted to bring out in the conversation because there are little girls who are now right now who could never imagine that they could be a cinematographer and create film and television. They would think that, oh, the best thing I could do is, like you said, become a nurse and make enough money to pay the bills so that we can have a place to live. But that's not really living. You know, we need to step out of that from survival into thriving. And
Mm-hmm,
that's something that I think BMG Fly definitely stands for, empowering yourself so that you can live your best life and
mm-hmm,
thrive. And
mm-hmm,
honestly, if it wasn't for folks like you and all the other sisters who are amazing out there, if we wouldn't have this kind of atmosphere where we know that whatever we want to do is possible, you
mm-hmm.
know, and I appreciate that. I definitely want you to like keep going and like tell me what's your next thing, what's your next big thing, what are you hoping to do this year?
Um, I kind of have like a couple things lined up, but not really. um, I'm working on a short film now with a friend
Ooh,
from MSU.
yes.
Um, she won a grant and we were supposed to do the film. We had to push it back. It's supposed to be this weekend, but we had to push it back because
Okay.
schedule conflicts. So more on that later.
All right. All right. You
um,
gonna be shooting in New Jersey?
we're gonna be shooting. Yeah, everything will be New Jersey. Kind of like
Okay.
Newark and Jersey City, a couple different. But that's
Tell
gonna be
us a
like
little
my
bit about the story. Is it something that's inspiring? Something that's genre, an adventure? What is
um
it?
she's currently doing, imagine she hops on this call and be like, May, don't say anything. But um it's currently being shifted around. It's supposed to be a film. So she applied for the New York Film Festival LGBTQ grant, and they wanted her to write a story reimagining a tragedy that happened in New York. I think it was 2003.
Okay.
So they told her write a story based off of where that doesn't happen, but it's not like a complete copy of. There's a woman that lost her life on the Broad Street. Like some two guys attacked her. So they were like, "Can you reimagine that tragedy where it doesn't happen?"
Oh, that's amazing. I like those
Yeah,
kinds of
yeah.
stories. More into
The story, to just put it in like simple terms, it's about two brothers that kind of like they're just dealing with like both dealing with two separate different situations, um, while also trying to juggle the fact that they're not supposed to be attacking these girls. It's a lot going
it,
on, but it's
it
supposed to be a
definitely
reimagining.
sounds like a morality play.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
very high on morals and things like that. But right now, I believe at the moment she might be doing some rewrites and stuff because it was getting a little too violent. So
I got
they were like, let's pull back, let's do some adjustments.
right.
So yeah, that's what I have for March and then also April, like when it'll be at the film festival. Uh, I have like some travel stuff coming
Oh,
up because recently I've gotten really heavy into wanting to do traveling content, but
okay.
not to the point where it's like vlogging every day, walking around with a 3 camera setup. Like I don't want to do all of that, but I would like to do a little bit more travel content because I found I really enjoyed it when I did Morocco last
Oh,
year. Um,
wonderful.
and that was a lot of fun. I was just walking around with the camera, one lens, one memory card,
And just your
you know,
experiences.
just vibes.
Excellent. I mean, even that's a story. Even that's a story.
Yep. And I was like, I want to do a little bit more of that. So I have that. I also have like a couple experimental stuff coming up. I wanted to do. Unfortunately, we're not going to get any more snow. That
Uh,
face. I kept saying, should I pray on it? But then I don't want to get a bunch of feet of snow. I
that's
wanted
one
to do.
thing I don't miss from the East Coast is snow.
It's only cute for like photos and stuff. But I
Exactly.
wanted to do. I already did autumn,
Mm,
my autumn picture photo set with my friend Alma Swala. She was the model for that. I
wonderful.
wanted to do winter, spring, and summer, but every time we had snow here, it was like it wasn't enough to
I
cover the
don't know.
ground to the point where like for inspiration purposes. So
Right.
I said, okay, we might have to swing back to some to like winter look
Mm,
in the actual fall,
right.
and then just skip straight to spring. So I want to do spring and I want to do summer this spring and this summer, and then uh, we'll see where we go from there. But I also have like another trip to Italy lined up, and then
Wonderful.
the fall I might have something else. But yeah.
And where can we see all this amazing photography? Let everyone know your website.
Um, so normally I post my stuff on, if it's photography, I normally post on Instagram,
Mm.
website. I try to post some of it on there, but also not because it's like I try not to overload my website with my
Mm,
photography just because
gotcha.
most people are more likely to check Instagram over a website, which I detest. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, and I recently was trying to get into like TikToks and stuff like that just for in terms of film because you try to put videos on this platform and I hate the compression. I
Mm,
hate the compression, the graininess,
right.
the having to do 20 million different things to make it look even remotely like what it looks like on my Mac.
Right.
So
There's your technical expertise coming out right there. There's,
it's
as an artist, you have expectations.
yes. The expectations for Instagram are up here and Instagram is like, I'm gonna give
Right.
you this.
Right.
So
No.
I have two accounts. I have this account and
Hmm.
then I have another account that used to be a photography account. I delete everything off there. That account is for when I'm about to post something. I'll spend like 2 days over here putting it out there. Okay, how's it look? No. Delete. We do it again. How's it
Mm,
look? No. Like I'll do that for like 2, 3 days. because Instagram is just so iffy when it comes to, oh, we're gonna let you post your video, but because it's 4K, we're gonna make it 280. Okay,
Right.
you're not gonna get whatever you have there.
No, no,
And there's supposed to
no,
be a video app, mind you.
exactly. I respect your professionalism and your expertise there. It sounds like if I were to shoot, I definitely would want you as my DP.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
You're like,
I
you're
always get
so,
shocked when people say that.
no, you're meticulous about, listen, I'm listening. I pick up on these things. As a director, listen, I understand. But let me ask you this. What film recently have you seen that has lived up to these expectations you have as a cinematographer, even to the point of impressing you?
Oh my gosh. I might have to scroll my letterbox. um, Also, more people need to download that app because I'm tired of being the only person on there when I review a film. I need to have other film friends on there.
Yeah.
You need. I don't know if you have one, but you need to get one.
I do, but I'm always never there. Unfortunately, now
Every
I'm
time
gonna
finish a film,
yeah,
plug it in Letterbox, put my review on there, and I'm like, yeah, I did something.
honestly,
But
I should. I need to update because I just recently saw Dune 2 and
did I
I
do?
was a little impressed.
Did I do Dune 2? I don't know if I logged my Dune 2 because I think Dune 2 was the last movie I saw before
Okay.
Ramadan. I think
Okay.
because I
Yeah.
knew like after Ramadan I was gonna have to play like catch up with a couple different
Right.
films.
Right.
But I think Dune 2 was the last one I saw because I saw the day before I saw Dune 2. I saw it the first time. Then I saw it a second time because I wanted to see something on my birthday. And my
Oh,
friends were like, let's see Dune 2. I was like, okay, I already seen it. I'll see it again because I was tired the first time.
gotcha.
I think the one film that recently has like really, really dragged me, like in terms of cinematography, has probably been The Green Knight. And a lot of
Oh my
people
goodness.
haven't seen that film.
No.
It bothers me so much.
Okay. As soon as you said that, a flood of emotions came over me because I've seen it twice. It's beautiful. It's
I've seen it twice
gorgeous.
in the same week, in fact.
Yes, it is gorgeous. Yes. Now tell me, what about it that stood out to you?
You know what I'm gonna say? It's the use of color.
Yes. Oh, wow.
It's the use
Yes.
of color because you know what? I feel like the best movies are the ones I go into not knowing anything about them. In The Green Knight, I did, my sister stands by, like, my sister swears by this. She says, when I'm interested in a movie, she said, I don't watch the trailer. She said,
Hmm.
I just, somebody says, oh, this is coming out. She will literally not, she doesn't watch trailers, like, at all. She don't watch trailers for games. She don't watch for
I'm
TV. She
surprised.
don't watch it for, she just goes in blind.
No.
Like, I commend her for it. I can't do it all the time, but I commend her for it. So for The Green Knight, I watched what I think was the teaser trailer that they posted on Twitter. I
Mm-hmm.
watched that. I saw Dev Patel. I
Mm.
said, my husband is in there. I must see it. I must see
Oh, man.
it.
It was
I'm in there.
so
I'm sat.
beautiful.
I'm
It
there.
was really.
It was so beautiful. And I think my friend that was just in here, Malika, I told her, I was like, you guys going to see Green Knight? She was like, oh, yeah, I'll be with you.
It was cool.
I'll be with you.
And like you said, it's the use of color and the color to use to express emotion, to set the tone for things, to shift the story in a way. It was just beautiful.
It was so well done. And the thing that kind of like made me a little annoyed is the fact that like so many people in Letterbox were like, I don't understand. Just watch it. Just it's 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 old English,
Right.
okay? It's you have to understand this is a period piece.
Yes.
It's fantasy.
It's
And it's like it's not like fantasy. It's a high
it's mythological, you know. Yeah.
it's literally based off of whatever how many centuries old story.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna be talking like how they do with like some period pieces now where King Arthur is the backtrack is rap, you know,
Right.
and they're using modern language, which
No.
I love a good genre bend. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes when I'm watching a historical period piece, I want them to be talking like they should.
Right.
I don't want everybody to be British if we're in France.
Right.
Okay?
You should be
I'm talking
transported.
about the last duel.
You should be transported.
I need to be transported. I need to be influenced. I need to be like, yeah, I'm here in the muck of the 13th century. I don't
Yeah.
want to be like, this person is supposed to be in Paris, France, Versailles, and I'm calling out Marie Antoinette, that movie. Why are there Converses on the floor?
That's crazy.
Because now I said, oh,
Now you're pulled out of the
I'm out
story.
the film. You lost
Yeah.
me. You
Yeah.
lost me. But
I love it.
that movie, I love that movie so much. If I knew what drawer it is right here, my DVD collection is right down here, I will pull it as soon as it came out on DVD and Blu-ray. I said, let me get it. Let me get
Yes.
it.
The
I said, I
power
need it
of
expeditiously.
color,
Yeah.
the power of light,
Yep.
the absence of light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I
Dev
love
Patel
it.
is he's such a great actor, and I do commend him. I will be seeing, once Ramadan's over, I will be seeing Monkey Man, just because I think
It's
his
on my
his
list.
project, his project deserves a little bit of love.
Yes.
As well as I commend him for, like, I don't, people don't give me the right parts that I want, so either I create them or I keep going till I get the parts that I want, and I'm just like, I commend you, bro.
Yeah.
I commend you.
And that takes us right back to what we started talking about. That's like you said, you don't see yourself, you're not given the opportunities, and you take them and you make them.
Create
And that's literally
your space. Yep.
that's BMP Fly.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. Create your space. Create the moment that works for you. And honestly, like, I have no doubts it's going to be a great film. He does amazing work. I feel like if it wasn't meant to be, he wouldn't have had the budget to get what he gets. And I was just looking at the trailer. I'm looking at the cinematography in the trailer. It looks immaculate. Yeah. Immaculate. Absolutely. And I can only assume that's because he pitched it and people were like, I'm down. What are we doing? When do you want to do? You want to cast? Yep. Who you want to star? Who's doing what? I read it. I loved it. Moved on.
And he stuck to his vision.
Yep.
And he stayed true
yep.
to himself. Literally, the whole story, it revolves around something that's culturally significant to him. And so, yeah, there's the lesson right there. Definitely. Well, I definitely want to see more from you. I'm looking
I would
forward
like to see more from you as well.
Inshallah. Inshallah. You know what? The reason why BMG Fly got started was because of what we just talked about. You know, that absence of opportunities for us. And alhamdulillah, we're picking back up. And inshallah, the film festival will be back in December. This is the goal. This is the plan.
Okay. You gotta give me like a heads up so I can plan to be there. Because it's always like one of those things. Hold on there. But it's always one of those things where, because I'm East Coast,
yeah,
I've got to know beforehand.
Yes. Exactly. I hear you. And because we've been on hiatus the past couple of years because of my health, this is our first year coming back since the pandemic started. So
like okay, as long as it's not nearby, go ahead.
That. So we're launching a campaign to raise funds so that we can get it back up and running. And it's usually every December, every third weekend of December. So inshallah, look for some more announcements when we open up submissions. And then the festival will be the third weekend in December this year, inshallah. But yeah, definitely want to see more from you in the filmmaking space. And tell me what it is that you want to see from BMG Fly this year, aside from the film festival.
Oh darn, I was about to say that. I'm actually looking forward to the features for Ramadan. Because I remember when you shared the lineup with me, I was just like, this is such a great way to, be introduced to more people and what they do, who they are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it's very hard often to find really good features for Ramadan because, again, I love when we have our lectures. It's just 10 out of 10. We get that all the time, but I love seeing other people do what they do and express what they do and all those other Gucci things.
Yeah.
So like just being able to have a moment where we can see what other people do, their lives, just a peek in. I do enjoy that. And I feel like it's been a while since I've seen that. And also like I'll like once we get off the call, I'll watch what is it? One of my friends, she did a feature. What is it? It's Tea Time with what is it called?
Oh, I've seen that. I definitely want to check
Yeah.
it out. I've
She
seen that.
she did
I know what you're talking
one and it I think it came out like 2 p.m.
about.
Something like
Awesome.
that.
I gotta check it out
Yeah.
too.
I think it came out at 2 p.m. So I'll watch it after because I'm pretty sure like it's like an hour long or something, if not more. So I'll watch it after like while I'm finished cleaning my room. Uh but um I just I noticed it was like something that came back this year where like different pages, or not a lot of pages, but a few different pages have gotten back into doing features of people during Ramadan.
Yes.
And they're not just respectfully people reciting all month long
That
and lectures on what women should and shouldn't wear, you know?
absolutely, because we live.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like you were saying, you got to live your life. And I really want us to shift away from just surviving and more into thriving. And I'm actually looking forward to all the different, like you said, the variety of folks that we have. We have a state representative that we're going to be talking to about her endeavors. We
Her.
also have a singer.
Mm-hmm.
She's like a singer songwriter, and I've been following her for a while. So, yeah, like you said, different folks. And inshallah, you're going to see that for the rest of the year. Like I said, that's our goal, to have a new feature every Friday live.
Mm-hmm.
And building community. That's what BMG Fly is really looking forward to this year. So, alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for joining me and chatting all about your passion and sharing that power that you have, that I know like a lot of girls, a lot of young women out there are very shy to step
Mm-hmm.
into. So thank you for,
You're
when you do
welcome.
that,
Thank you for inviting me.
that gives others permission to step into their greatness too. Alhamdulillah.
Yep. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. Yep.
Well, inshallah, I will see everyone next Friday. We have another feature. And thank you again, Maymunah, for joining us and telling us all about your passion, cinematography. And Ramadan Mubarak, y'all.
Ramadan,
Assalamu
everyone.
alaikum.
Walaikum.
Alhamdulillah.